Happy Monday, everyone. I'm John Carter with the Boca Voice. A lot happened last week. Planning and Zoning passed the project known as Miser 200, as is with no amendments, and that's on its way to City Council. So when it gets there, we're going to keep you updated on how it goes. Next up was the Community Advisory Panel's Town Hall. The Town Hall brought a lot of issues forward that people were concerned about, and one of the bigger issues there was two issues that I'd like to talk about today. The first is climate change. A lot of residents were very concerned about climate change and what Boca Raton is going to do to combat it as it becomes more of an issue down the road. Councilman Robert Weinroth, last City Council meeting, asked City Council to consider putting on the consent agenda, or even its own separate agenda item, the Southeast Regional Climate Change Compact. Next is sober homes. Sober homes are becoming an absolute epidemic. With over 800 sober homes in Delray Beach, it is the capital of sober homes for the nation. There's more there than anywhere else. And Boynton Beach is seeing overdoses. This past weekend, they had used over $1,000 of Narcan. That's usually the amount that a city would use in a month, and they used it in a week or less than a week's period. That's absolutely crazy. There are currently anywhere from 6 to 10 sober homes in Boca Raton, and there may be more. The thing is you never know where there's a sober home, because they don't always look how you'd expect them to look, with signs that say sober home or anything like that. It could be a regular, in your neighborhood home, and there's just a lot of people going in and out. And you don't know how many people are living there, if they're a licensed sober home. And some of the people are good players and good neighbors and follow the rules that are described by the ADA about sober homes and the state legislatures. But as we all know, City Council can't regulate sober homes since it's a federal issue. An addiction's a disability, so it is protected under the Americans with Disabilities Act. That makes it so tricky and so convenient for these bad people, these criminals, to come in and run a sober home, you know, advertise in Utah, come to sunny Palm Beach County, sunny Boca Raton, 4 miles from the beach, and get clean. And then, while they're in that sober home, their insurance is paying for them to have rehab, and they're getting a monthly stipend to pay rent and all these different things. So the owner of the sober home is making a lot of money. Well, there's some guy on a bicycle delivering them heroin and causing even more overdoses and more drug use. So the City Council, the state legislature, and the federal government are all working to try to combat this issue. Senator Marco Rubio had a meeting with the DEA director to combat it after hearing reports about Boynton Beach and Delray and the craziness that's happening here. So, what can you do if you think you're living next to a sober home? Call code enforcement. Code enforcement will investigate for you and see how many people are living there. Are they following the rules that are set by the city ordinances and the state legislature? And if not, they're going to be investigated, fined, and prosecuted to make sure that they start following the rules, and if they're licensed or not. So make sure you call code enforcement. And remember, if you know someone using heroin, call the addiction hotline. Make sure you get them help. There are some key things. As much as people don't want to talk about the fact that people are using heroin, if you are using heroin with your friends, or if there is see people using heroin, you can report. If they're having an overdose, you can call 911 and get them help and not get in trouble. A lot of people aren't calling 911 and they're just letting their friends overdose because they're afraid of getting in trouble. There is a law in place that allows you to report an overdose without being prosecuted yourself. That way, because we want to make sure, the municipality, the state legislature, they want to make sure that people are okay. No one wants to see people die of a drug overdose. They're working hard to combat this problem. That is also why you can pick up Narcan in your local drugstores. Narcan is the drug that brings people back from an overdose of heroin or fentanyl. So make sure, if you know people involved in heroin, get them help. And more importantly, make sure that you're not afraid to do the right thing if it comes down to that. Until next time, I'm John Carter, your voice for all things politics.